friends, what's going on here? Another episode of Fun with Azure. So, what we're gonna look into here today is Fun with Azure and Synapse Studio Part 1. So, I did provision a Synapse workspace, which you can see here. Here's the name of the workspace. And what I'm gonna do now is just go through the GUI and explore this a bit because there's quite a bit of things going on in here. So on the left hand side we have like a menu, right, with different main points here. So this is home, then we have data, then we have develop, then we have integrate, we have monitor and manage. Okay, so those are those different sections, and this is basically where you set up, configure and work in different things and get things going. And then here on the home we also have a new button here and a couple of buttons down there, right? So that all enables something. So when I go new, I see here I can basically generate different pipelines, data flows, notebooks, SQL scripts, other types of scripts, which is basically a quick way for me to get started with development. So when I go here, and you can see I already played around with this, have some scripts going, but when I go here, this button here is basically almost the same. There's a bit of other stuff in here like the browse the gallery, but very similar. So develop is definitely an important section, and we're gonna spend some time in this here going forward. What I did here is I have multiple scripts here generated, and this is just to basically learn the GUI and how to navigate the GUI. So I can say here SQL script. So now I have a new SQL script, and I can also go here, SQL scripts. I can create a new folder, call it test folder for now. This allows you to give this stuff pretty nice structure later. And I was actually able also to move it. This is pretty slick here. I like that. Just by with the mouse, moving these around. So this is gonna be helpful. And then I can also go to the test folder, and then here create a subfolder even. Can import something, can rename the folder, and can delete the folder. So this allows me to organize my stuff. Obviously, if I have a lot later, I can filter this as well, which is probably going to be very helpful. Let me see if that works. Here we go. Okay, so this is okay. And then as I have scripts here, we can see on top the names of the scripts that appear there, and then I can actually see what's going on inside. This is where the code lives. I have the run button, the undo button, the publish button. There's currently items open to be published. You can see the yellow number 2 here, and we're currently connected to the built-in. And I do not have any other pools here. So this is a serverless pool, and we get to that in more detail, but it's basically compute that you need to be able to run scripts, and we're gonna do that just in a minute. Yeah, that's basically that area of develop where we can add stuff. Let me poke around here. Of course, we need to think about GitHub at some point, right? And code repositories and DevOps and all of that, to make sure that this can be integrated. Here we have refresh, certainly helpful. Discard all. Then the 3 dots. Okay, just exploring. This might be sometimes helpful going in full mode, right? So you have a bit more real estate when you develop. Also, when I'm writing here, let me see if I can increase the font size easily for presentation situations. Let's see, so I'm trying to use control string, control shift and the upper sign. That's not working. Okay, so apparently maybe there's a zoom function somewhere that I can't seem to find right now. Show notifications. There's a settings section. This is just languages. Okay. Let me check around. There's size. This allows you to limit the returns of records. And this is also, for those of you who work with SQL Server, this is a very common concept here. Those are different databases, so to make, when I run a script and I'm in the wrong database, I may not get the data that I'm expecting. So that's something else to make sure that I select the proper database, and then my query that I'm running here runs against that. So that's all basic stuff, just, you know, browsing around. And of course I can close all of those. Now if they're not yet published, I'm getting that, so I need to publish them, so let me do that real quick. So here's basically such a window that shows me published one. Also, what I found interesting is there's always learn more buttons, which typically bring up help pages in a separate window, and that's also very helpful because some of them, at least, then you can dive into the details here further. I wouldn't say this is very helpful, but you know, it's there. So now I can publish, and now I can close those windows. It's deploying changes, and then shouldn't that number 3 degrees? Let me check this out. Oh, this might be where I can use to refresh right away. Yeah, see, now it's basically gone. So this is the development section. There's a KeyQL script, right? Of course, some of them do have different options here on top, but they're generally the same. There's a run button, and then there's a notebook. Right, so now a notebook requires a Spark pool, right? Okay. Code, markdown, okay. This is just adding another cell that's code or markdown. Markdown allows us to format our code a bit, make it pretty, so we can share the notebook file eventually. There's also a session configuration link that could be interesting. I'm sure there's some interesting stuff behind it. You see here. This is all Spark related now. So this is another type of compute, and we're gonna go into more details. But this allows us to configure that. So you can see there's quite a bit of stuff going on, mainly because we have so many different types of computes in Synapse, and each of them is kind of reflected. Now, also what I should point out as well is the browse gallery, and there's a whole bunch of things kind of pre-available or pre-configured, and we can, you know, there's database templates, and we're going to spend more time definitely on those and what the purpose is and what they should be used for. Let's check the. Yeah, this is I would consider this a more helpful link here as a Synapse database template, so you can read up on that. And then we have datasets. Those are sort of standard datasets that you can start playing with. Boston safety data, COVID tracking project, Chicago safety data, etc., etc. And then we have different types of here also pipelines. Pipelines, for those who watch my other videos on ADF, this is basically now the pipelines. Synapse pipelines is what it's very much like Azure Data Factory. But here, those are predefined templates like bulk copy from files to database. So we can open that one, hit continue. And then there's like description, what it does, text, okay. And then you need to select certain things to get this going. Sometimes you need to scroll down. And here are the first inputs to select. So this is a linked service, obviously. So I have not yet this fully set up. I mean, there's one here, but basically that's a wizard experience that requires us to tell, hey, where's the location of the files, and then it generates that for each structure that then loads those files. I mean, this is definitely helpful for even for learning purposes. Exploring this. Let me go into there one more time. Browse gallery, pipelines, and is there a way for me to add one without? Customer feedback analysis, continue. I think you need to have it set up with, see here, with all kinds of information linked services. Once you have that, then the wizard kicks in and generates the pipelines behind the scenes. Oh my goodness, there's quite a bit of parameters here to be provided. But anyway, this is intended to help you with the basically getting started. Here another help link, customer feedback analysis. And some of this is really powerful. It's best to check this out and spend a bit of time, and that's possibly what I'm gonna do as well. So let me go back here. Where's my area? Okay, I think we got it started. We need to still play around with this a bit more. This is a very rich GUI with lots of capabilities, but more next time. Thanks, guys. Cheers.